Well, hello everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. You're happy, healthy, safe, sound, most importantly, prosperous. Just finished processing this. I wouldn't say it's actually finished yet. I sifted it, and this was the compost. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to add in a little bit of peat moss, not too much. We don't want it to become acidic. And there's a word for what peat moss does. Peat moss has a tendency to repel water, and there's a scientific name for that, something trophic or something. I can't remember for the life of me. I had it just a moment ago, but my brain decided to unfriend me on social media. Anyways, we're going to add in some peat moss, and then I'm going to add in some perlite. And we're going to turn this into some proper growing medium, either for seed starting, or straight into the garden beds, or for pottering around. Alright, so let's get to it, shall we? So we've got some peat moss in there, and I've got the perlite. And I just found something. Do you know what this is? These are crushed eggshells. And what I did is I forgot where I read this suggestion, or maybe I saw it on a video somewhere. I can't remember exactly. But basically, if you've got eggs, keep the shells, give them a rinsing after you're done cracking them open. And then what you do is you place them in the oven at 160 degrees for a good 30 to 45 minutes. And that will help dry them out. And it'll be easier to crush them. So I crushed them, pulverized them actually, put them in this jar. I had quite a bit more, but I forgot I had this left. So you can toss this right in. And these are rich in minerals, and that will help with the growth of your plant. It'll also enrich the soil. So let's dump that in, shall we? Now, I decided that in this little batch, what I'm going to do as well, it's not really a little batch, it's quite a large batch actually, is I'm going to add in some bone meal, and I've got some right here, some bone meal. And bone meal is great because what that does, it helps with the blooms on your flowers, and also on uh, the blooms that you want on your plants that need pollination. And so it's rich in phosphorus. So we're going to throw some of that in. And I'm not going to throw in much. I'm going to throw in maybe an eighth of a cup. That's about it. And because there's quite a bit already of some nutrients, and a lot of those components are already in my compost. So you just don't want to overdo it. I'm also going to put in a little bit of extra fertilizer in that. We're going to throw in some blood meal, organic. And this has a lot of nitrogen. Sorry, if you heard that, I was blowing off an ant on my phone. And so we're going to throw in some organic bone meal. And just to make sure the pH is stabilized, we're going to throw in a little bit of garden lime. I'm not going to put too much because it will raise the pH too much, and we don't want that. And if you raise the pH too high, it becomes alkaline, and then your leaves on your plant start to sag a little bit and droop. And we don't want that, now do we? So let's get to it, shall we? There's the bone meal. Got the blood meal. About an eighth of a cup. That's all I threw in there because there's plenty of organic material in there already. And so the nitrogen level shouldn't be too high. We don't want to burn the roots to the plants that we're going to use this on. And here's our garden lime, and I'm only putting in about, maybe I should say 1/16 of a cup. That's about it. And that's roughly about 5 tablespoons. So we're going to toss that in as well. Look at that. And we're going to give this nice mixing now. Look at that, guys. Look at that. I found out too that you can actually add in more perlite or vermiculite, whichever one you like to use. Right now I've got perlite, Vermiculite works really well. And again, I believe I told you what perlite is, as well as vermiculite. Basically, it's a volcanic rock that's very porous, and it helps retain water and hold moisture, but also helps increase the drainage, so that way your roots don't get saturated and you destroy your plants. We don't want that happening, now do I? Or do we? And so, there we go, look at that. Getting it all mixed up, and this is smelling like actual store-bought garden soil. You can smell the bone meal in that, you can smell the blood meal, and it is getting fluffy. And look at that, it's still moist. Look at that. That is amazing. So I'm going to finish mixing this up. Alright, so let me finish that and we'll get right back to it. And there we have it. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me, does that not look gorgeous? Oh my god, that looks like something you would buy at a big box store now, wouldn't it? Or easily a nursery. Perhaps we should call it Peter's Nursery. Alright. I wanted to go ahead and throw in a little tidbit here. Now, those of you who have subscribed to my channel, and the new ones to come, you'll notice that my channel's name is Triumph by Will. Well, it stands for Triumph by Will, because we all can triumph once we have the will to do so. Wow, did I just say that? Alright, we'll write that one down. Anyways, that's what it means. And the 3 stands for the 3 points. T-R-I, try. So definitely, there you go. So now you understand why there's a number 3 in front of those letters. Anyway, guys, look at that. Look at that. And it's still clumping up like a brownie batter. Look at that. Isn't that great? I love this. I am so excited right now. And this is really moist. And it smells absolutely wonderful. So divine. Let's give it a little close-up there. Look at that. You might even see some crawlies in there, maybe. I don't know. But there are some worms in here, too. I noticed when I was sifting the compost and going through the sifter. Thank you, Sidney and Tori, for that compost sifter. I cannot tell you how much of a godsend that is. I will put a link, or a link in the description below to their channel, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to check out their channel. It's known as the Naked Gardeners. And this couple, they are so lovely. I really love this couple a lot. Sidney is absolutely wacky, and he's great, and he's a big bear. So yeah, you've got to check out their channel. So take a look at that, guys. Do you see that? Look at that. This is a combination of kitchen scraps, and I'll show you something else what it's a combination of. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, are the disposable pastry case items at the job I work at. And they've given me permission to go right ahead and take it and use it for compost. I'll leave it inside this bag, and what I'll do is I'll make sure the bag is closed up a little bit like it is now. So that way there's moisture that builds up and you'll get this mold right here. And I'll let it get to a state to where it's so moldy it just breaks up rather easily. This will attract so many of those creepy crawlies that will help break it down even faster. And that way you'll have a soil that much sooner. So I use this, and there's another thing I use, because this is your green material along with your coffee grounds, which I'll show you right now. Here are your coffee grounds right here. Right there, I would definitely try to open up the bag so you could see it. Let's go ahead and open up the bag so you can see it. Look at that. And I have unlimited access to these coffee grounds. I also make sure I keep the coffee filters that are used in brewing the coffee there, because that's your carbon material. And I'll show you another source of carbon material that you can use. It goes without saying that you can also use leaves for your carbon material. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, I cleaned up a little bit in this garage. Anyways, right here, I managed to get a hold of these from work as well. These are those hand towels that you use in the restrooms and to dry your hands off with. Well, this batch got too wet, and so they couldn't use them, and they let me take it home. And I've got stacks upon stacks of this. This is your carbon material. That goes into compost along with the pastries you saw there, along with the coffee grounds. And I managed to get a stack of these. And these as well were damaged through water. So they said, go ahead and take them. We can't use them. They would just be chucked right into the bin. And that's not really wise, don't you think? These are amazing. They break down so well. They're massively organic. And that's another carbon-based material. All that combined in, thrown right into a pile, covered up, and let it heat up. And I also got these. And this is why I encourage you all to get yourselves acquainted with a mom and pop lawn service. Right here were some grass clippings that were dried up so much it turned into like a hay. Look at that. This works wonderfully, and this works great too, because once you've established your compost pile, you can throw this on top and it mats down. And what that will do is help trap in all that heat. And around this time of year, it's going to get rather hot and warm, so the center of your compost is going to heat up easily to like 70 degrees Celsius. And that is quite hot. That's going to cook away all the nasty bacterias, unwanted seeds, and microbes that you don't want in there. It's going to help break it down that much quicker too. And one last thing you can get from your mom and pop lawn services. Now in these bags, again, get yourselves acquainted with a mom and pop lawn service. I can guarantee you they have no problem dispatching these things upon you, because it saves them the effort of disposing of them. And you can reuse these bags as covers. You know, you can use them to cover up your compost or even make compost inside of them. So that way you're upcycling and they're not going to landfill. Now normally I would open this up, but there's nothing but grass in here. And I can tell you right now, any of you know when grass is isolated in a bag like this and it's hot, you open it up, you're going to get a stench that is worse than the depths of Hades. So I refuse to open these up right now, but they're loaded. I've got 3 of them, and 1 large one as well, with fresh grass clippings. There you go, everybody. As always, please like, subscribe, definitely hit that notification bell. There it goes. That way you get updates on everything I've been uploading, and you can keep up on the up and up. Guys, be safe, sound, happy, healthy, most importantly, prosperous, and no more warring. We as a species have been doing it too long, and it's rather old already, don't you think? Love you all, and be safe.